What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that team reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Good morning, Friday, April 11th, here in the Greater Toronto area. My dad, I talk about him a lot because he's a good guy. He would call what we've been having in Toronto the last few days, days of night. People go, days of night? Yes, it's the daytime, but we haven't seen any sun. And actually today we're getting slight snow. Spring weather, where are you? We need some sunshine and some warm weather. We need that. We need that. You're watching The Morning Vibe with myself and usually Ryan Oneil Knight, but Ryan Oneil Knight told me last night he's not available this morning. Boo, boo, boo. And we have Fitness IQ Cam is already in the house saying morning. She goes, LOL, I like that saying from your dad. Thank you so much. Yes, we need some sunshine and vitamin D. Overdue. I don't want to take tablets for vitamin D. I want to get it au naturel. Good to have you in the house today, Fitness IQ Cam. But have no fear. Ryan's not here. Have no fear. Chezu is here. There she is. Chezu is back. What's going on?
Hi, Dr. Vibe. I'm good. I'm trying to cheer myself up, even though the weather is why? Just why?
Just why?
Just
Why? What's been going on with you this week?
Oh, nothing much. Just chilling, hanging around, just enjoying life, the simple things of life. I've been getting into more cooking lately.
Oh, well. Also, when's the next feast?
It's usually every day in this house. Like yesterday, I made chapatis and curry.
Oh, oh, oh. Order.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Very nice.
yeah.
So, what are your specialties?
Oh, that's a very good question. Oh my God, do I have any specialties? You know what? I don't know if it's specialties, but I do love potatoes, like mashed potatoes, potato salad, potato fried, roasted. Like I love doing anything with potatoes, potato curry. Like
Of course, you go for something that I'm not a big potato fan. Not,
really?
no, and it's funny. Growing up, myself, and my younger brother,
Mhm.
when he would come home, especially when he was really, really young, come home from school and do French fries, cut up the potatoes. He loved French fries.
Yeah.
Loved it. I go, oh, it's so much grease and ugh, French fries.
What? So you're not okay. So what are you a fan of? Like, what is your
Well, these days, you know what? And I'm fighting to get really back into it, but I'm big into salads.
wow?
I'm big in like if it comes to any sort of protein stuff, it'd be chicken. Love chicken.
Chicken's the best.
A spicy chicken on point. Love it. Love it. Yeah, not too much. My craving for food here as I go on in this thing called life and water, of course.
And water.
I don't crave food crazy like I used to. Have a bit of a sweet tooth.
Mm.
The other day, someone gave me, and I had to, I bended myself. They gave me a carrot muffin with cream cheese and walnuts.
Ooh, that sounds.
So out of bounds. So out of bounds. Look who's the Chezu posse is beginning to infiltrate. The good morning. We got Teresa.
Yes.
Teresa says, morning, everybody. Good stuff. Glad people are in the house. Very nice to have. But yeah, food stuff. it's going to be interesting because in a few weeks' time we have Buy Black Restaurant Week, and that's when Roger Dundas pulls me to all these restaurants. So in 1 week, I have all the things I'm really not supposed to have.
Ah, so that's like the cheat time that you give yourself in a
Yeah,
way.
like once every week or once every 2 weeks, I sort of but I love our producer says jerky chicken, jerk chicken, not jerky. It's jerk chicken producer. But I like that jerky chicken. Wow, that's a new twist on things. Jerky. Have you ever heard of jerky chicken?
No,
All
no.
right. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was not out of bounds or anything. Jerky chicken. I like that jerky chicken. I've got to mention that to go. What do you mean jerky chicken? What do they mean? Uh, what else has been going? Oh, what we're gonna do immediately with our fans and friendly. If you're watching on the Doctor Vibe YouTube channel, these days how much we love to find out where you are chiming in from. So if you are watching this live on the Doctor Vibe Show YouTube channel, if you're up to it, put in the comment section the city and country you are watching the live show from. We'd like to know and like to give you a hail up, which is good. Fantastic. Food. Yeah, I love fruits. I'm big fans. I love pineapple.
Pineapple's good.
Uh, Even though it's boring, I like apples. Love oranges. I once in a while I'll get into mango.
And cantaloupes, I love.
Cantaloupes are good. Cantaloupes are good. Cantaloupes are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, cantaloupe. Oh, our producer says typo with the jerky chicken. Yes, jerk chicken. That's all right. We're having fun here. Having fun, and it's been a crazy week in the world with all the stuff going on geopolitically with uh 47 and his tariffs, and you know I try to be as neutral as possible yesterday, but I saw a video yesterday that just started me to shake my head. There was 47
Yeah.
in his Oval Office with some of his billionaire friends and say, "Hey, wasn't the look at this? This guy made $900 million with the stock turnaround yesterday." I'm going, do the American voters really want to see you hailing up people who made like $900 million with your manipulation of the stock market?
Wow.
You
That's,
know?
you
Oh,
know,
long time. JJ Mars. Haven't seen you in a minute. JJ Mars says, "Good Friday morning, Dr. Vibe. Good to see you. Long time I haven't seen you. Hope all things are good with you, JJ Mars. Sorry. And again, if you're watching this live on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel, if you're up to it, put in the comment section on YouTube, city, country you're watching this from. We want to hail you up on the map. Anything else going on this week, Chezu, since Monday? How was the aftermath of you coming on for the first time on Monday?
oh, it was really nice, and you know what? I really needed that
Oh,
because,
good.
yeah, because my family we've been dealing with some grief, so it was like a
Balance, yeah.
yeah, it was like a good getaway, and just having a conversation spontaneously about AI. Like, I feel like it dragged on even into my Instagram stories. Like,
Whoa!
yeah,
Do tell us. Come on, tell us.
yeah, no, I now started having these conversations with ChatGPT because my friend Ivy decided to ask ChatGPT a question, and I was like, let me do the same. And I asked ChatGPT if it would spare me in an AI apocalypse. And
Okay, nothing random. You ask. Okay, okay,
yeah,
Okay, nothing mild. Go on.
yeah, and ChatGPT told me that, of course, it was gonna spare my life and play my hype playlist while all the other AI bots are throwing drones, and would also sneak me in snacks. And I was at the top of its cool humans to protect list. So I was very fascinated by that response. It was very detailed.
Okay, Magoo saying watching from the amazing Toronto, Canada. Definitely not in the same house as this amazing co-host. Do you know Magoo?
Yes.
I would
Yes.
hope so. All
Yes,
right.
I did.
I would hope you don't go going, is there something going on here? Like, All right. So let's put up the map because some people, thank you, have shared where they're chiming in from this morning. So let's show the map. So love it. So we've got some people in North America, and we've got some people in Africa, the continent, as we like to say, the continent. There's some people coming into the continent, which is very cool. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. I've somewhat taken it a little bit easier this week, and but I like to make my Fridays really positive, productive. I don't like saying the word busy. I like to be positive, productive.
Yeah.
I like to end the somewhat of a week on yeah. So this is one of the things I got my energy into today, and what we're going to do is when we come back. If you were with us on Monday, or if you watched the replay, I talked about a video that I watched. I said, "Wow, not a lot of times Dr. Vi spends an hour and a half, 2 hours watching a video."
Yeah.
We are going to show a segment of it and have a conversation about a very interesting subject. Lots of people coming in. Hey, if you're on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel, if you haven't done it already, type in the comment section, city and country that you are watching us on. And we're going to be right back in a minute. And this is good. I, we'll leave it. We'll talk more about it when we come back. I wanted more people on this conversation, but because I think I presented them so late, we didn't get as much. But we just do it anyways, right? Don't get good, get done, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to a break, and we'll be right back. I'm just the appetizer, and here they are, the main course.
It's not all. We know that. But what we are seeing is all those who dare to.
They want to get rid of our definition of DEI and replace it with their own, which is divest, exclude, and indoctrinate.
But I have seen in other families and other men that have actually told me that they would rather die than to see a Black woman do better than them.
Interesting. That last take from Lala indirectly has something to do with what we're going to chat about today. But that's Primetime Saturday with Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lala Key. Saturday afternoons, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, where two Black American queens talk about the sense and the nonsense that's going on in America. Please check it out. All right. Oh, wow. We even got a. Oh, wow. No, okay. I'm going to put up Galen Bingham because Galen is calling from St. Louis, but it's the only So Galen, love to have you. And yes, I've got it. You want me back on your show? You've got to come back on my show. So we have to do a guest exchange. But Galen is one of the top leadership coaches and has a really great podcast called you know what? Whiskey Jazz Leadership.
Wow.
I remembered it. And why does he call it that? Because he's here from St. Louis. The only reason I put up his city because for him to show up on the map, you got to put it on YouTube. So no problem. But I want to highly encourage, if you want any great conversations about leadership,
Yeah.
Galen Bingham's show is great. Many, many years ago, Galen appeared a few times on my platform, and he's got his own thing going on, award-winning, a lot of great stuff going on. And why does it call it Whiskey Jazz Leadership? He loves whiskey, he loves jazz, he loves leadership.
I love it.
Okay, we are back. All right, now let's put this up. So who's in the house? Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi says, good morning. Welcome back, Chezu.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
No, well, see the posse's here. Kachima. Good morning, Dr. Tachi. So she's a big fan. So you know what we have to do? I have to get you and Dr. Tachi on.
Yeah, I would love that.
The African contingent, come and take over the morning vibe. Dr. Tachi says, Kachima, Boa, hey there, good morning. Okay, good. And then she also says, okay, so she's up for that.
Yes. That would
So,
be
hey, okay, so I'm gonna put it. People know that I'm spontaneous. Doc, are you available Monday?
yes.
Dr. Tachi, tell me in the comments if you're available on Monday. This gonna be. I got There's a method in my madness. So put in the comment section if you're available on Monday. All right, let's do some things here. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Want to get to 1,780 subscribers. It looks like we're in a bit of a pause, but I will say over the last month, over 50 new subscribers to the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel, which has been amazing. The last month on YouTube has probably been my best space of time. Also follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. LinkedIn, which Galen Bingen's watching on right now. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com, or click on the link that is there. I had mentioned in past episodes, I'm going to get the link up there. The link is up there. All right. To advertise your business, product, or service on our show, please email me at dr. at the dr.vibeshow.com. And then, speaking of Dr. Tachi, Indie Soup Media, independent content creators channel on YouTube. 9 months. Just over a year now. 25,000 subscribers. And I have to adjust. Only 4% of all YouTube channels have over 10,000 subscribers. I was saying a higher number. It's only 4% of all YouTube channels have over 10,000 subscribers. And a lot of them took a long time to get there. Dr. Tachi did it in 1 year. Hello?
Wow.
Hello?
Oh.
Also, coming up on this Monday's show, certified holistic nutritionist from the Energy Shack Juice Bar. Forgot to put her name, Carolyn Nicole, who'll be talking about the benefits and misconceptions of intermittent fasting.
Interesting.
I forgot her name, Carolyn. Please forgive me. I will make sure I change that in a few moments. And but yeah, that is gonna be good. So that's why I'd love to have you on. Hopefully Ryan will be there. We got a whole pile of
that's gonna be on Monday.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I also want to get Dr. Tachi on, because I know Dr. Tachi is very engaged when Carolyn is on. Let's see, I've changed it now. See, that's her name, Carolyn Nicole, certified holistic nutritionist. We talk about the benefits, and I want to be in on that show. All right, and if you want to get a hold of our guest co-host today, there she is. _rights on Instagram. All right, we got some more comments. All right, Dr. Tachi says, sure. It says, I'm available. So it is done.
Yay!
Rezu and Dr. Tachi, Ryan, and myself will be together on Monday talking about intermittent fasting. So have your questions ready. Have your comments ready. I'm excited. This is great. Fantastic. All right. Going back to last Monday's epic conversation. Colin Grimond says, link up on Facebook. All right, thank you. I was talking about a video I was watching with a gentleman named Scott Galloway. He was on Trevor Noah's podcast, chatting about the crisis with young men, or crisis with young men, and really empowering conversation. And I said, you know what? Why don't we show a bit of that conversation? We're going to show some of that conversation right now. So I'm just going to bear with me on the screen bit. All right. Okay. Share. Can everyone see that okay? Can we see it? Chezu, can you see it?
I can see it, yeah.
All right. If you can see it, that's what counts. All right. We're going to play a segment of this conversation, then we're going to get into our conversation topic of the day. So got about 5 minutes, because this is 5 good minutes of conversation. Here we go.
Don't go anywhere, because we got more What Now after this. You know, one of the first videos I saw of yours, a friend sent it to me, and you were talking specifically about mates and mating and relationships and people. And you said something about, and I think you captured a deep feeling that not many people were speaking about. And funny enough, Christiana talks about it a lot. I think that's why she's such a fan of yours as well, is the idea of the purposelessness that can come with not having love or not having some sort of thrust in your life. And I saw this video of yours, and I remember thinking, man, because someone was like, what do you think? This is crazy or not? And I said, I think this is brilliant. And also, it's so easy to prove in the most extreme circumstances. Go to any terror cell in the world. Like, I'm talking like ISIS. What are they promising them as well?
Wives
Women.
and girlfriends, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy that even on that level.
In the afterlife, in paradise.
But I'm
You
saying
don't
even before the afterlife, they're saying we're going to go there and we're going to take women. We're going to get wives.
Oh,
we're going to
yeah.
get in some parts of the world where life is a little simpler, unfortunately, because it's harsher. You see that reality slap people in the face. My life is not going well. I'm joining ISIS because ISIS didn't just tell me we're going to fight. They said we're going to fight to get a wife and a better life.
Also a key, ISIS pay.
Well, they pay some people.
But the reason they got more, at point, they got more recruits than Al Qaeda is because they paid you a bit more.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
well they were smart in the
So
beginning.
it's just like they gave them jobs.
Yeah, so let's talk about
Jobs
let's
and a
talk about the
mate.
man side of this whole thing, because I love that you talk about it, the manosphere and the. Before we even get into that, I'd love to know, what do you think it is about you that has connected with a group that people would have argued wouldn't have connected with your views maybe like 2 years ago? Because if you wrote down on paper, Scott Galloway, this is what he believes in. He believes in basic incomes being this. He believes in healthcare. He believes in pre-K. He believes in. If somebody had drawn that up, and then somebody had put the crypto bros and the whatever we want to call people, if we're putting them in a box, they would have said, "Oh, this person will never agree with that person." And yet you've made massive inroads with a lot of these young men who people have said wouldn't agree with their views. So
And
what do
some
you?
young women, I'm a fan.
Oh no, yeah, but I'm saying the
Thank you,
men.
Chris,
No,
yeah.
but I'm saying the men in particular,
Yeah.
where people have just said no.
Yeah.
You know. So what do you think it is that you are saying, or what do you think it is that you are doing that is connecting you to them, and what are other people missing about connecting to them?
Well, first of all, thank you. Your comments are generous. Look, I started talking about struggling young men 5 years ago, and real insight is when you state something that's obvious but people weren't thinking about. And the data is just overwhelming. And that is, no group has ascended faster globally than women. And by the way, we should do nothing to get in the way of this. More women are seeking tertiary education now globally than men. The number of women elected to parliament in a democracy has doubled in the last 30 years. In the United States, women in urban metros under the age of 30 are making more money than men. More single women own homes than men. 2 in 3 women under the age of 30 are in a relationship, only 1 in 3 men. And you think, well, that's mathematically impossible. It's not, because women are dating older because they want more economically and emotionally viable men. What you have in the U.S. is no group has fallen further faster than young men. And it's for a variety of reasons. Biologically, their prefrontal cortex is 18 months behind a woman's. It doesn't catch up till 25. They just lack the executive function and the judgment. A big part is male abandonment. A lot of young men don't have the male involvement in their lives that is key. And even if you were to say that 5 years ago, the gag reflex was, well, what are you saying? Mothers can't raise sons? No, I'm not saying that at all. But the research is pretty striking. When there's a single parent household, and let's be honest, 92% of the time it's the woman heading the household in a single parent home, as mine was, the girl in the household has the same outcomes, same rate of college attendance, same rates of self-harm. In some, she's okay. The boy, the moment he loses a male role model, becomes much more likely to kill himself, much more likely to be incarcerated. What it ends up, if you look at the data, is that while boys are physically stronger, they're emotionally and mentally much weaker. And we don't even want to acknowledge, at one point 4 or 5 years ago, you could get into trouble by even claiming there was a difference amongst genders and young people. And if you were advocating for men, you were seen as a misogynist because so many unproductive voices filled this void with bullshit, thinly veiled misogyny. And what we have come to realize, and the dialogue's gotten a lot better, and it's mostly been led by mothers, is that empathy is not a zero-sum game. We can still acknowledge the immense challenges women face. The moment you had kids, your average salary went to 73 cents on the dollar. Corporate America has still not figured out a way to maintain a woman's professional trajectory when she decides to use her ovaries. At the same time, young men, if you go into a morgue in the United States and there's 5 people who died by suicide, 4 are men. If any other special interest group was killing themselves at 4 times the rate of the control group, we'd weigh in with programs. And finally, we're starting to acknowledge that women cannot continue to flourish and our country cannot continue to flourish if young men are floundering.
But Scott, don't you think it's points to the fact that a lot of men don't care about men. Because I think about the
100%.
women in my life, not just
100%.
mothers, sisters, friends. We spend a lot of time worrying about the men and boys in our life. Whether it's,
100%.
give the example of a single mother is
Yep.
just with her son.
Yep.
Now, if a mother is absent from a friend's life,
Yep.
other women will step in and fill that woman's role.
Yep.
Why aren't men saying, well, there's a single mother down the street, or I
great
have a
point.
family member that's single? Why aren't men stepping in? Why don't men care about men and boys?
It's a great point. If you were to reverse engineer when a boy comes off the tracks and becomes an unproductive man, it's the single point of failure is when he loses a male role model. We have the second most single parent homes in the world behind Sweden. And unfortunately, there's a taboo. If you were to get involved in a 15-year-old's life, if you were to look around the office and say, single mother, say, I'm Trevor, I'm going to a game. Do you have a son who'd like to hang out with me? Because you're immediately suspected. You're immediately, quite frankly, Michael Jackson and the Catholic Church have fucked it up for all of us. And that is, if a man wants to be involved in a boy's life, there's a bit of trepidation. Is there something wrong with him? Is he up to something really mendacious or awful? Could he be possibly a pedophile? And this is such a tragedy because there are so many men with fraternal and paternal love to give that maybe don't have kids of their own, or maybe just are concerned or see the problem, who are willing to weigh in, and they're kind of told by society not to. And also, quite frankly, men are not stepping up. There are 3 times as many women applying to be big sisters in the New York Big Sisters program as there are men applying to be big brothers. In sum, if we want better men, we have to be better men. And you're exactly right. Men need to, there needs to be a zeitgeist in our society. Family court, neighbors. The moment a boy no longer has a male role model in his life, other men need to step into the void. My mom was really good at this. She made sure I'm still in contact with a couple of her ex-boyfriends. There was a neighbor across the hall who used to come over with his girlfriend and take me horseback riding.
Yeah.
I had men in my life. And sometimes there are millions of young men right now, boys, the first male role model they have is a prison guard because men aren't stepping up. And I'm writing a book on masculinity. I think of concentric circles of masculinity. You take care of yourself. You're strong. You're economically viable. You're kind. You're a fucking monster. You have this unbelievable thing called superior bone structure, risk aggressiveness, this amazing substance called testosterone. You protect others. You take care of yourself. Second circle out, you protect your family. You're a good provider. Next circle out, you take care of your community and your neighbors, and you help other people. The ultimate expression of masculinity, in my view, is to take an irrational interest in the well-being of a child that's not yours. And not enough men are doing this.
Yeah.
And it is so easy to find them.
Can I tell you an idea I have? I wish more men made men who are bad fathers a pariah. Like, if you have a friend that doesn't see his kid, he shouldn't be a friend.
So
Like,
can I say 2 things to this, right? I agree with the premise completely, but I think it is important, just as you do on all issues. I think it's important to consider what the possible reasons can be.
Okay.
So on the one hand, to what you're saying, I don't think like most men would not want to step in, etc. I don't think so, honestly. But I do know from speaking to men everywhere around the world, to what you're saying about like wealth porn, etc. Man, men, maybe because they imagine it or maybe because they're experiencing it, a lot of men just feel like they've got to like double grind to even get the basic, that first concentric circle, to what you're saying, has been crushed, right?
Okay.
And we've got to consider all the ways it's been crushed. How have like the junk food companies crushed people's abilities to even like eat what they eat and stay healthy? You start with people's food, what they get access to. You start with, as you say, opportunities, income, being kicked out of school, etc., etc., etc. And I think you've also got to consider what it's like to be a young man where the dreams that you are sold and told don't come true because the system hasn't been set up, as you said, correctly, right? So I honestly believe that. I think
And I feel a lot of compassion for, I think any failed promise, whoever it's made to, I feel a lot of compassion for those people.
No, so I'm just saying, in understanding that is like, I go, like for me as Trevor, for instance, I have more time and I do make the time to be with friends or extended people's younger kids because they know me so they can trust me, right? But it's like, all right, take him go-karting, take that one there, do that thing there. but I have the disposable income and I have the time income as well to be like, yeah, I can do that and I will do that. And you know what I mean? But I've seen for a lot of people, they go like, hey man, I can't even get my shit together. Who am I to, I think that's the first one. The second one, to what you were saying, you said that the thing that the proposal you had was,
I think that you should become a social pariah if you don't look
you
after
should
your
become
kids.
so.
No, because and I'll say this, and I've seen it in my community a lot. There are deadbeats, and there is no consequence. Their friends still roll with them. Their mothers still let them in their house, and they do not show up for their kids.
Yes.
And if a woman does not look after her child, if a woman even comes back to work early, I've had people DM me like, you had a baby 8 weeks ago.
Yes.
Who's with the baby, right? Like, and
Yeah.
I ostensibly think I'm doing a good thing. Do you know what I mean? And a woman who is not seen as a perfect mother is judged and vilified.
Completely,
And
I agree with you.
absent fathers, there is no social consequence.
Completely.
So I'm saying there should be a social consequence for not showing up for your sons.
So now I agree with you 100% on this. And because of that, I was so fervently in that mode that I would like fight with people on this. And then I came to realize something that maybe in this world we aren't addressing in the same way. There are many, many, many men who feel like they've been made a deadbeat dad. Do you get what I'm saying? There are many, many, many men who feel like they go, yo, this is me now, anecdotally. I know some men personally who were good men, wanted to be with their kids, you name it. And the woman in their life was like, you see, we broke up. I'm going to make sure you never see these kids
They weaponize
ever
the
again.
kids. Yeah.
And they and I'm not saying this is all of them, so I'm not
I
absolving
normally see the
men.
inverse. I think, and it's evolutionary biology. They say that what's the saying that it's a mother's baby, father's maybe. A man is more likely to treat his sister's child with more love
Yes.
than he is his mate's child or his wife's child.
Yes.
They've done studies on this because your sister's child is related to you.
Yes.
All that to say, I believe a man's relationship with his children, I know this is not going to be a popular thing to say, is often connected to how he feels about the children's mother.
Yes, no, but
Right?
I agree with
so
that.
for the most part, it's men being like, I split up with you, I see you less. He gets a second wife, and he's a really good dad to those second set of kids.
Right.
I see that all the time. Less so do I see women, and I'm not saying that these villainous women don't exist,
Yes.
who say you can't see your kid. I think that's a cultural trope we've
No,
made up.
I was just saying, wait. I was just saying one. Please, let me explain. I was giving you one that I know anecdotally.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all of them. There's another one. And this is, again, the system that we've created. In America in particular, and in many other countries, you get divorced, you get broken up with whatever. Most of the time, the system says the mother keeps the child, the man has to pay for the child to be with the mother. And that money is calculated strangely in some places. Some people say it's very fair, some people say it's unfair, but it's strangely calculated. And now to what Scott was just saying, we live in a world where people already cannot afford the one house that they were promised, in the American dream. 40 years ago, people could buy that house even on a meager salary. Someone was putting out the numbers recently, and they showed that like 40 years ago in somewhere like Philadelphia, you could buy a house, you could put down the down payment for a house with like a month's salary. There's no way you can do that now in that same Philadelphia, even because houses have gone up way, way, way faster than salaries have gone up, right? So from that perspective alone, I think it is important to look at a place like Sweden. I remember going to Sweden and talking to, it was like, basically they had like Dr. Fauci, and I was asking him about like why Sweden has so many one-parent households, but so few of the problems. And he said, yes, but you're forgetting one thing, and that is here in Sweden, first of all, you are not a pariah if you are single, right? That's the first thing. And secondly, you're protected by the states. It makes a big difference when your relationship with the other person is not determined by your money. I just think
So I
some
think we're
of this...
making a lot of excuses for men because mothers can't do the same thing.
No, but I'm saying why. I'm not saying it's an excuse. You see, there's a difference between an excuse and an answer. I think an excuse is saying you've done it, but there was nothing we could have done and you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong or right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like, what is the answer for this thing? And I think sometimes when we look at the socioeconomic impacts of how, in America specifically, how it sets it up. When you are a dad that leaves the house, for many men, it is difficult to continue being the dad the way you want to be. Now, how they deal with it is shitty.
Yeah.
And also, credit to women. I was also raised by a single mother, and I've seen it. And in our programs in Africa, we still do the same thing. We know you give the money to women because women know how to make that dollar go further.
I think you're both right. 1 in 6 men, 3 years post-divorce, have no contact with their children.
Wow.
Some of that is male abandonment. Some of it is just a total lack of character. You don't hear a lot about female abandonment
Yeah.
because it just doesn't happen that much. At the same time, family court is also, you would argue, biased against men. Sometimes it literally impoverishes them.
All right. I was saying I was only going to show a few minutes, but I think that conversation was so rich. I'm going to stop it there because it was so good. And so what we're going to chat about today, I guess since this conversation is focused on people who look like us, we're going to talk about, is there a crisis of black masculinity in today's society? A lot to digest there. If people want, I can share the link on the screen and in the chat. If you're it now, you see why that conversation glued me, because it's a subject on a lot of platforms. It's not handled. I thought it was handled very well intellectually.
Hmm. Yeah.
Very, very, very intellectual conversation and a lot of good points. And you know me, I'm going to put a poll up. So we got a poll coming up right now. And the poll is, as I connect to it, and it's a simple yes or no answer if you're watching on the YouTube channel. All right, let's put it up. And Chezu, you can, after I bring up the poll, I want to get your initial thoughts of that conversation. And there's the poll. So if you're on the YouTube page, Dr. Vibe YouTube page, question, is there a crisis of black masculinity in modern society? Yes, no, not sure. Type that answer if you're watching on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube page. Hit enter. Go for it.
Oh my God. I felt like it was such a rich conversation and there's so many nuances. One thing that I feel like um, I was waiting for them to chime in on is like the mental health aspect, the emotional intelligence of men in general, but specifically Black men. And when she tackled the fact of, well, men don't show up for other men, I'm not sure, but I feel like men show up for other men. I I may be crazy, I may be delusional, but I think men do show up for other men on a surface, let's hang out, let's go to the cookout basis, but not on an emotional intelligence basis. And I think a lot of men are they're built to they're built to bottle up their emotions. So even if somebody is to check up on them or see how well they're doing, our society is structured in a way that they're not really encouraged to say how they really feel. And I was listening somewhere else where someone was saying, for Black men, their anxiety shows up as anger, or their sadness shows up as anger. They, like they've not seen anything else when it comes to how they should express their emotions that is acceptable, except to be angry or to be aggressive or to be indifferent. So I feel like that is also another nuance when it comes to deadbeats, when it comes to men not showing up for their kids or not showing up for each other. It's also like women are naturally there. We live in a society where we're allowed to be emotionally inclined. We're allowed to cry. We're allowed, if I started crying right now, like people would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, like, are you okay? But that same reception is not given to men. So I feel like that's another thing to add to that conversation.
Okay. I noticed that people were not responding to the yes or no. I've changed it up, and I see some people have provided some answers, long form answers, and I'm going to go with the flow. And what I'm going to do is change up and go this part of, oh, one person said yes, but I think this is maybe a longer form answer. All right, I put up a thing here, just a general question: is there a crisis of black masculinity in today's society? So If you're watching the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel, 1 or 2 sentences, and we'll start seeing the results on the as they come down the pop per se. All right, let's okay. So we have the Macmillan Group says, "Good morning." She made a profound point about, quote, men not caring about men, unquote. I have always said that and he says, quote, sisterhood, unquote, goes beyond race, income, religion, and age most times. Kachima says, yes, I feel the biggest problem is that men don't care about other men.
Wow.
Woo.
Okay.
Teresa says, yes, she does feel there. Okay. Dr. Tachi says, the video discussed some very interesting facts. Teresa says, yes, I agree with Chezu. Men are loyal to each other. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Lots. See, I know the long form is where it's at today with this conversation, not the yes or no. All right. We have uh Perry Douglas. Hey, Perry Douglas, I've been hunting you down, man. Some of your videos have taken it to the next level on the Dr. Vibe Show. I think that it might not be the right question to ask. It's much more complex and nuanced question. Facts, all right?
Yeah.
Katina says, I remember when one of my friends told us he beat his dad instead of supporting. Okay, let's go here. I remember when one of my friends told us he got beat by his dad instead of supporting and helping them. All the men made a joke about it.
Whoa.
Okay. The Macmillan Group says, this is a great conversation. Roger Dundas says, good morning, family. What is up, Roger? I also watched the entire interview. Yes, I told Roger about it. He watched. Okay. Okay. Let me jump to Perry first. Oh, my, the man, my brothers are coming in on this. I love it. I love it. Brothers, some of the brothers here, I'd like us to come on and have this conversation. But the Macmillan Group goes, is it loyalty, or we just don't care, or more focused on what we are doing, not to be bothered by where or how another man falls short? Being the only black man on screen right now, I think that's a valid statement that some of us we're so North American culturalized, individual. I'm not perfect, but one of the things I do is I'm going to put it out here. There are people like the Ray McMillans, the guys like the Ray McMillans, the Roger Dundas, the Wayne Harrises,
Yeah.
that we stay in contact with each other through, and whether it's good, bad, or ugly, they are there for me, and I do the absolute best I can to be there for them. All right, Perry Douglas goes, I think that might not be the right question to ask. It's much okay. Then Roger Dundas says, a lot of perspective is from our Western society. In the Caribbean, where I grew up, male mentors were abundant. In Canada, it doesn't seem to be the same.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think part of it, and I don't have it with me, one of the books that inspired me to do what I'm doing today is a book called Black Men, Obsolete, Single, and Dangerous. The African American Society in Transition. It was written back in 1990. And one of the key premises of the book is that we Black people come from Mother Africa. It's a communal society. North American, European society is based on the individual. So it's for men, it's trying to fit a round peg into a square hole. You know what? The answer thing must be going crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that up because it is just fire today. I knew making that pivot to long answer would be better than just the short answer thing. All right. As you can see, it's going crazy.
And I want to touch on what Roger Dundas said, because even in Africa, specifically in Kenya, there is a specific ceremony that is an initiate. Like, I don't know the word for it, but it's like a camp where men go together and they hang out when they reach adolescence. And from there, they get mentors and they get mentorship and they get help. And I noticed that coming into the Western world, it's a little bit different. It's very different.
You fight for yourself.
Yeah.
You're fighting for yourself. Dr. Tachi says, I think that it is seen as a taboo and weak for men to care about other men. BM, what is up? Says, yes, there is a problem. The way men are uh, jealous of drag down other men, as well as gossiping about other men, is a symptom of the problem. Men don't.
Wait, do men gossip? Do men gossip? This is news to me. Wait, wow. Dr. Vibe, what do you think about that?
I think they do.
Yeah.
I think they do.
Oh my God. And jealousy as well?
Yes, of
Oh,
course. Remember, we're in a very competitive environment here in North America,
yeah.
right? Competition, provision, all those things. Now, I wouldn't say every man is like that, but I know a number of men that that whole definition is your value is who you are, what what we are, what we represent, the flash, the outside, what you got going on the outside. The Macmillan Group says, I had the same experience, Roger Dundas. My parents were divorced when I was quite young, but I never felt I was raised by a single parent with the absence of male role models and perspectives.
Mm.
Dr. Tachi says, Roger Dundas, indeed, a very Western perspective. Kachima says, BM, I highly agree. Kachima says, I highly agree. And also says, Chezu, yes, I think, yes, they do. She wants, but yes, they do.
Mm. Oh my God.
And then Macmillan Group says, yes, there is. I don't know what the answer to that is, but yes, there is.
So, do you feel like part of it has to do with emotional? Because I heard some people saying, is it loyalty or is it they're not being real with each other? Or is it that they can't be there for each other because they can't even be there for themselves emotionally?
I
So, what
think
do
I believe it's a combination of all those
of those
things,
things?
all those things. And again, being there or saying that, the other members say, what do you mean you're going to be there for me?
Mm. Like then they feel like you're trying to say that there's something wrong with me. Like you don't need to be there for me. Like I can be there for myself.
The old individual thing, right? All
Interesting.
right, Cesar, who we asked to be on the show. I asked him last night; he couldn't be there, but he is here saying, "Hi, everybody! Important convo. So I am missing. Don't worry. What I'm going to do. This is not the first time we're going to chat about. I'm going to bring the brothers on to chat about this.
Yes.
I know it was last minute, and as I said earlier on in the conversation today, wanted to get another brother with me, but hey, you're all tied up and understand. Dr. Chachi says, "Hey, Cesar." Kachima says, combination of those things. Also, okay, my producer is not listening to me. Hey, Cesar. Yeah, it's hot in here. Yes, it is. Roger Dundas says, similar experience to the Macmillan Group. Mortgages and real estate, parents separated at 10, but my friend's dad was a great mentor who happened to be a judge and
Oh,
a great dad.
great. Amazing.
All
Amazing.
right. Next up, Macmillan Group says, but that is not showing up. I can hang out and drink a beer with someone I barely even know, but will never have meaningful conversation with them.
Whoa. Whoa. So my question is like, how do we fix that in the black masculine like modern society? Like how do we make it okay? Because I feel like part of the problem is not being able to show emotion or not having the language or the emotional intelligence. So how do we move from there?
Okay, before we get to that, there's more. Oh man, all these gentlemen who are on the I want to bring us all together to have this group conversation. So, Perry Douglas says, I think it comes down to how you see the world and think about yourself in it. Key point, because it all starts with you. We too often create top-down categories which influence our perspectives. Good take. Macmillan Group goes, that anger comes from not having strong male role models. Men who were raised by strong men have better control of their emotions. That anger, in my opinion, is an extension of feminine energy.
Whoa.
Ooh. Roger Dundas says, it seems that black men don't trust each other.
Yeah.
That's another valid point. That is another. Oh wow, good stuff. Kachima goes the Macmillan Group. So true. So Kachima agrees of what that's the anger's extension of feminine energy. Well, Chezu, what do you think about that statement? Since you are
You know what? I don't know whether to feel attacked. I am like, okay, anger is extension of feminine energy. Oh man, like I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I think maybe the anger, okay, I don't know because I'm not a man, but sometimes sometimes I feel like the anger may not just be an extension of like feminine energy, but it may also just be, and not just also a result of not having role models, but it can also just be a way of not knowing how to express any other emotion except or the anger emotion is the only one that's seemed as masculine. Because I've heard a lot of men say that growing up, their dad even wouldn't allow them to cry, or their peers would not encourage them to show emotion in any other way except by being tough or by being aggressive. So I feel like it can come from so many different reasons, so many different, yeah. I think it's not one answer.
oh well, and there's a little bit of a. So Perry Douglas says, don't agree with my good friend Ray on this. Oh, so there's a difference of opinion. Well, and I know if these two want to go back and forth, they will handle it respectfully. So, gentlemen, if you want to continue the conversation in the comments, this is a good thing. Uh, for a number of men, anger is the easiest emotion. I will base that though and say that for a lot of men, there are a lot of men out there that are screaming and nothing's coming out.
Oh, oh my God.
And when it does, it's to the extreme.
Whoa.
Kachima goes, Roger Dundas, facts, and also don't love to see a brother succeed before them.
Before them.
Okay, Perry Douglas goes, let's not blame black women for your problems. Whoa.
Wow. Yes. Okay. Interesting. I mean, we can even tackle the whole Will Smith situation, right?
Please. I don't want to bring celebrities in. There's enough mature black men here. We don't have to bring in celebrities into this.
Well, okay. Without bringing that situation into it, then it's like also, and what, going back to the podcast, what Trevor Noah and I think it was Christina were talking about. She was saying how sometimes we give men excuses for their behavior. And like what Perry is saying, where it's like sometimes black women are blamed for black men's lack of like being able to cope with their emotions. So how true is that? Is that something we as black women make up, or is that something that we are responsible for as well?
All right. Perry says, black men, I think you want to put more. Black men are too fragile and look to blame others. I wouldn't say all black men are that, maybe some. But again, we have to look at where are they coming from historically. They're like that's just the cover. Where's that coming from? Migu says, I think there is a severe crisis in the black masculine community.
Wow.
I personally think it boils down to the presence, lack of presence, the presence, lack of presence of prominent father figures in the home, like as the Macmillan Group said. Perry Douglas says, and I thank you, he agrees with me, please no Will Smith. Thank you. Magoo says, stated, strong men raise strong men. Then my question, okay, that's going to lead to a question for the comments here. Kachima says, by the way, I was agreeing with the statement before that that Macmillan said about showing up for beer, but not really being involved in someone's life. And then Macmillan Group goes, because black men don't connect with each other easily, we have to take into consideration the impact of immigration, both within the United States and from Africa and the Caribbean and the North America and Europe. True. Then here's a question I have for the audience. Uh, do I want to do another poll? Because it would, you know what? We'll keep it in the same thing here. What is the definition of a strong black man?
Ooh.
In today's society. I was going to do another poll on this, but I think this all fits into the masculinity thing, so I don't want to change it up. You know, what is the definition? So people, if you want to type in that. Also, Perry Douglas says black women have carried a disproportional amount of the burden. Without black women, where would we be? Fully agreed. But Perry says have to bounce, folks. Have a call, but great conversation. Perry, I'm going to invite you. I'm going to invite some of you people here to us have a roundtable on this. BM says a lack of black men showing up to show boys how to act is what we would eliminate much of the jealousy, hate, and gossip. The example from men is key. Macmillan says the men who gossip are low functioning, similarly to women who gossip. Folks who are doing what they need to do have no time for that. That I agree. The last part, 100%. If you're focused on your goal, dream, and desire, you have no time to gossip.
Yeah.
You have no time to gossip. You are focused on your goal, dream, and desire. 100%. 100% on that.
And so your question was, what is a strong?
What is your definition of a strong black man? And people in the comments, if you want to answer that, Chezu.
Yeah, this topic is very interesting because I feel like it's so hard to talk about something that you haven't experienced personally. But I would say to me the definition of a strong black man is just somebody who shows up, like keeps showing up for himself, his loved ones, his family, and understanding that him showing up for himself will in turn like give him enough strength to show up for everyone around him. Someone who understands the importance of community and building those communities and making sure everyone around him is good. I feel like that would be my definition of a strong black man, but I'm curious what other black men see as a strong black man.
Cesar says accountability must not be overly placed on single motherhood when so many factors must be addressed, even in regards to black father absenteeism, but also socioeconomics, education, and I guess you ran out of space. Magoo says a strong black man loves the Lord primarily,
Wow.
loves his wife as a resemblance of Christ's love for his people, is tender and encouraging with his children, and is actively placed in his community. Can one person do all of that? It's a lot.
I I feel like they can because I've seen it happen.
Okay. BM says strong black man, a man who takes care of his family and himself, a man who puts the black community first after his family, a man who lifts himself, not drag other down, knows to ask for help when needed. Don't mind that. But the thing is, remember, black men, we don't have it as easy as the non-melanated when it comes to especially providing. So when you're saying all these things,
Mm,
compared to those who are not black, who have more access, more opportunity,
mm,
especially financially,
yeah.
it can be challenging. Kachima says, God fearing. I love it. It's interesting how the God fearing is coming. God fearing, patient, understanding, and someone who shows up in every area of one's life. All
I,
right. All right. This is fire. This is
but
fire. Go ahead.
Dr. Vibe, do you think that sometimes black men have been conditioned to worry about the materialistic aspect more than the emotional aspect, and that
That's men in period. That's
yeah,
society. Not just men.
yeah,
That's society. Period.
that's
Right.
society. That's society.
That's
Period.
society, but even more so, it's an impact on men because there's still that thing that men have to be a provider,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of men who value themselves on their toys.
Mm,
right? They're toys, right? They're toys. Kachima says, yes. Yes to what? I need to know what yes is. When you just say yes, I don't know what it's for. So when you say these one word answers, give us some context. Because remember, you're saying yes to something that may be mentioned that I said, and I can't, I'm not making the time to go back and say, okay, what is she saying yes to? Okay, we already went through that point. God changed it so we can get rid of that on the, okay. All right. And Teresa says, wow, I agree with Mugi. All right.
mm,
Yeah, we are in a very materialistic society, whether you like it or not. And yes, you have, as I said on a show that I was on yesterday for dads,
yeah.
that and I'm sure a number of people have heard this, that when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to ask for more money, you're going to ask for more time.
Wow.
Now, other people would say, okay, well, in order to have more time, I got to have more money.
Oh,
Cesar says the complexities of intersectionalities of race and gender and sexual emotions regarding being a black man makes that a good. He ran out of space. Cesar, would you like to come on for a few moments? If you're available, I'd love to have you come on for a few moments. And Chezu is a huge fan. I could send you the link, and if you want to come on for even 10 or 15 minutes, I think that'd be fantastic. So tell me if you're available. I can send you the link, and you can come on for a few minutes and do some Cesar knowledge bombs, I like to say.
I,
But go ahead.
there's something else in the comments that I saw that my brother brought up that there was this one friend he had and was talking about how his dad would beat him up growing up, and then when he went to tell his friends about it, his friends made a joke about it.
Yeah,
Do you feel like, first of all, do you feel like sometimes black men may have role models but not the right ones?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If they even had any at all.
If they even had any at all, yeah.
Right? Kachima goes to the fact that men don't have focus on emotional support. The think is only, and then Kachima goes materialistic. Yeah, again, the materialist, and even more so now in the world of social media.
Yeah, 100%.
People are seeing, and as one of my main mentors said, he said, "Isn't it interesting, Doctor Vibe, that 80% of the people that are on social media only show you 20% of their lives."
Yeah, that's true.
We're only seeing the great. We don't see them falling down, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you know, I have conversations with a lot of men from a lot of different backgrounds, and I'll tell you, there is a gentleman I'm assisting right now who's going through a very challenging family court situation.
Mhm.
And again, I believe what he shared, and he's deal, she's dealing with children's aid. Children's aid have him with a social worker. Social worker also referred him to a therapist, and the therapist said to him that your social worker is emotionally abusing you,
Wow.
and he's not getting any support from the court on this. Plus, he's not getting good support from his lawyer. That did come up in the conversation about family law. That's a whole other conversation. But this adds to the whole thing about masculinity because unfortunately, a high amount of our children are being raised by single parents. The majority of those single parents are black mothers.
Black mothers, yeah.
Ray McMillan says it's not an attack. Young boys raised in lower income homes only by women struggling to make ends meet oftentimes sees a lot of emotional swing. Facts.
Hmm.
Facts. Uh, Cesar goes, a good black man can be poor, gay, atheist. Stop with the black men lessons from white Christian heterosexual capitalist narratives.
Oh, interesting.
All right. Kachima McMillan says, McMillan, that is a good point to raise last conversation point. A lot of things going on here today.
Yeah.
Lots of things going on today. Lot of things.
Wow.
This
It's really opened up my mind to see like this, because even when he talked about the suicide rate,
Oh, let me interrupt you there. And I mention this periodically. One of the first gentlemen who got me passionate about the whole situation about men. He said this gentleman was based in Chicago, and he has assisted over he's thousands of men. He said, Dr. Vibe, in the United States, of people over 40 who commit suicide, 80% are men. And the majority of young people, and I think Scott may have mentioned this,
Yeah.
in America who commit suicide, men. And as he said, if those stats were of any group, people would be freaking out. But for some reason, goes quiet.
Do you feel like, well, this is a very, do you feel that feminism has anything to do with that neglect, or do you feel that it has completely nothing to do with it? Because that's something that I struggle with. Like, do women have to dilute the movement in order for this to, like, for us to shed more light on this problem? Or do we just have to reconstruct our feminist movement? Like, how does it look like moving forward?
You have time for another episode? I think when it comes to feminism, white feminism doesn't apply 100% to black feminism.
Yeah,
They're coming from two different places.
I agree.
I'd say the white feminism is from privilege, black feminism is not from privilege. I get my best response to that question is I would love to see the day where we can just sit down and talk with each other
Mm,
and listen to each other without judgment.
right.
One of the things, especially with black men now, therapy, therapy, therapy.
Mm,
First of all, let's put it jump. Many black men don't even go to a doctor.
mm,
I think and Scott mentioned in one of his conversations, I think a number of black men don't need therapy. They just need a group of guys to just chat with on a regular basis.
and chat with on a deeper level, right?
Yes, they have to break the walls and realize that they have more in common than they don't have in common.
Mm,
The feminism piece, like if this keeps on going the way it is, it's not pretty for us as a people.
right.
And I will say to us, maybe I'll bring this up the next time. When a black man is ready to open up, is his partner really ready to receive it?
I have some thoughts on that.
Are they really ready to receive it? Because if you just push back on him, it's finished. Are you really non-judgmental, listening, not interrupting? But I'll let you jump in on saying you have some thoughts on that. Go ahead.
No, to your point, like I've had many like female black friends who, or just different black women who they don't want to hear it. Like they do not want to hear a man being emotional. They do not want to hear a man pouring out. It gets too much for them because they've never seen it. They've never experienced, they don't know how to respond to it. I am the opposite though. I actually like when men like are able to pour out, but I do agree to your point that not all women are open-minded with that. But what would you say, and this is me playing devil's advocate here.
You're a devil now? Okay.
No, no. What would you say to the feminist black woman who is there like, hey, we've had generations of our moms and our grandmas taking care of you guys. So boo hoo, if you guys are facing this now, we don't really care that much? Like, what would you say to
Eh,
a woman with that perspective?
well, to me, I would say, is this all about you, or is it about the greater Black culture?
Mm,
Like, if someone is willing to open themselves up to you, who you know it's not easy to do,
right.
just because, and it could be someone who's not even related to you. They're opening up to you. Why won't you listen to them and non-judgmental?
Right.
Yeah, like, and it gets back to my central theme as I go on in this journey. If Black people are going to move forward, it has to start from the family. We have to do it together. If we don't do it together, then okay, we're falling to that trap of North Americanism, Europeanism of the individual, and we can't win that fight.
Yeah.
Well, not saying I don't. We've always been fighting, but notice great movements have always been successful when there's a large group of people together,
Together.
and everyone's at different points in their lives. That's just my lens. You can disagree with me. I have no problem. But there's a whole thing when we work together, we win together. Now there are going to be circumstances where it's not going to be fine,
Fine.
but listening. How does someone feel when you know you've been listened to?
Yeah.
All right, let's get back on some comments because they've been flying. Food Plane says, "Hello, Dr. Vibe DS here. I'm light to what seems to be a powerful topic. No problem, you're here now, but watch a replay." Food Plane goes, I'm glad that this is being discussed. Macmillan Group says, "That's a tough one, Dr. Vibe. Even as a Black man, I couldn't provide a complete answer, but I would hope that my kids and peers see me as a strong Black man."
Mm,
Uh, Food Plane goes, humanity has an identity crisis. Facts. Kachima goes, "Not cute or pretty at all." And then McMillan says, "Those answers seem very textbook to me. No offense intended to the respondents." I don't know in what capacity you were saying there. So let's move on to Cesar. Cesar, why aren't you on the screen, Cesar? Tell me you want to come on. Says white feminism has been an anathema to Black men, but also Black women progress and truly psycho emotion development. And yet too many Black women refuse to accept the vulnerability of Black men.
I agree.
BM says some Black men are lucky to have someone who would listen to them. They open up, but most go through life with no family or spouse that will listen. True. Many women go through that too in the community. So we are hurt people.
Yeah.
That old phrase, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
Right? Macmillan Group says, "I think it's important to have discernment as a young man. I had uncles who I admired and respected, but they also had flaws, which I was intelligent enough to recognize even from a young age." Family, you are strong today, family. You are strong today. All right. Food Plane comes. Okay, hold on. Food Plane says, "Masculinity isn't toxic by nature. It becomes destructive when it is aimless." Woo! Men need guidance on their strength to protect, lead, and build, not suppress it entirely.
Yeah.
This is fire. This
Yeah.
is fire. This is fire. This is fire. I don't even want to put up what Cesar is saying anymore because he should be on the screen. He hasn't answered my question. I'd love him to come on. Cesar goes, Black women believing that they don't have a man because now they're doing better, lie to themselves and do the job of white supremacy as they dismiss the importance of corporatism and government. Bomb, 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 Cesar. Should I just email Cesar the link?
He'll be on the next one with you and all the big
All the other
guys.
gentlemen? No, I think no. I'd actually be a conversation I like to have with Black men and Black women.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes. I'd like to have mix it up conversation, you know?
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to get other women's perspectives because women also have different experiences. And, like for me, I've always found it interesting when women say they don't want to hear that vulnerable side of a black man because
And
I'm not
and,
that way.
and then my responsibility is, what makes you think like that? To me, I'd like to know the answer to that question. As much as you don't want to talk about what's the reason you don't want to talk about it?
So your question would be
No,
why
not what is the reason for you not wanting to hear it?
mm, I think it's well, I'm not that way, but speaking for other black women, maybe just trying to see
That,
where.
that's a big load you're putting on your shoulders.
Well, I would
I just
assume.
heard a drink of water.
I maybe let me say I would assume it's
Even
generally,
that's a more dangerous word.
or maybe my research suggests
Okay.
around my sisterhood is that it has to do with a couple of things. Like one of the things is just they themselves as black women feel like they've had to take up a masculine role
Yep.
in the house. So when you come home and they're maybe paying all the bills and also holding the house down and you want to come home about your emotions, they just feel like, what? Like, what is happening here? Like that shouldn't even be a conversation because they themselves have kind of lost touch of their femininity and their emotions. So that could be a reason why.
Okay. I'm just gonna see if I can pull up something while we're okay, good. I'll see if I can pull something I saw the other day. All right. So food plan goes: teach boys discipline, purpose, and emotional strength through mentors, challenges, and real responsibilities. I know, Cesar, I'm pulling your leg up. He goes, Cesar goes, audio texting from the car on the way to my next meeting. I hope you're being driven. If you're driving and doing this, don't do any responses. All right. Uh, and I'll be honest, I I'm glad and I'm blessed that we can have this conversation with a mature audience. I've seen it being talked on other platforms. It becomes a blank show, men and women. All right. Uh, Food Plane says, to those men who say, I'm just not emotional, I say, is not anger an emotion? Ooh. Dr. Tachi says, Cesar, indeed. But also, often black women are told to select a man because he is black, not because he is a great person. We are taught to settle, a disservice to us all.
That's true.
Macmillan Group, true Dr. Vibe. White feminism was a narrative postulated by middle class married white women, which I think is not the reality of black feminists. So black women have been misled, in my opinion. Chezu saying, ooh, this is a lot going on today.
Yeah.
Hey, let me just,
Oh my god.
I'm just going to see something. I'm going to see if there's, oh, good. Good, 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 good. We're going to bring this up. I saw this on the other day, and I didn't know if I'd be able to loop it into this conversation today, but we've talked about. See if I can get it here. All right, good. All right, I'm gonna play this. Jason Wilson, who is fairly prominent writer about men and a men's advocate. Here we go.
Get their man or their husband to open up emotionally, to share what he's been carrying instead of holding it in alone. First, I want to commend you for even asking, even caring. Second, I want to tell you what you're really asking for and to make sure you're ready for it. Because when a warrior finally shares his heart, you will need a heart of fortitude to receive what he's sharing. When a man opens up, it's like a dam breaking. It won't just touch you, it will shake you. You're undoubtedly strong enough to handle it. However, the question is, are you willing? And if he does man up by opening up, how will you respond? Will you pull away? Will you impassively dismiss his thoughts and emotions? Will you unknowingly confirm his worst fear that no one really cares to help him carry what he's carried alone for so long? Or is your heart strong enough to support the very thing you deeply desire for your man, that he heals and become whole? So if you're ready, sincerely ask him, but with deep intent in your eyes, how are you really doing? Then brace yourself and listen with your heart and not your ears. Shalom.
Wow, I speechless. We have to listen to each other more
With our heart,
with
not
our
our
heart,
ears.
not our ears.
Dr. Tachi says, uh, Macmillan Group says, indeed, non-melanated feminism serves non-melanated feminists only.
Only, I agree.
All right. Kachima says, I love this man so much. He has done so much for the Black community. Are you talking about Jason Wilson?
I think
Yeah,
so.
he's written a number of good books. He's his latest book called "The Man the Moment Needs." This moment needs. Excellent book, men and women. Uh, Food Plane says men are often conditioned to suppress vulnerability, yet crave meaning and connection. Without healthy outlets, this tension can no longer can turn into anger, depression, or withdrawal. Uh, Cesar says, fully agree with doctor on what? I don't know. Okay. Food Plane says, at its core, it's about health, is about identity and belonging. Men are wired to seek purpose, challenge, and community. Without them, they often fall into apathy, aggression, or isolation. Wow. Cesar agrees with Dr. Tachi about the feminism. And Kachima says, Jason Wilson, yes, amazing. Yeah, he's really, really, really good. I'm seeing if I can get him on the show, but right now he only does like those big. But I'm going to reach out to him and say, hey, we'd love to have you
I'm sure.
on. I'd like to have him on some platform that I'm on. He has a lot. I'm gonna reach out to him. Chezu.
Yeah, no, this is a heavy one. This is a heavy one. I feel like we need more
You were the
men.
person who brought it up. You text me last night.
I didn't know it was gonna become this, but no, I feel like it's a conversation that needs to be extended with more Black men and other Black women with different experiences, because I feel like that would be perfect. That would be amazing.
Let me ask you, in your family tree,
Hmm.
what examples, good or bad, have you seen of Black masculinity?
Wow, that's that's a
You
good
don't have to
question.
go, you don't have to go deep, but just high level.
My family tree, well, my grandfather, like, he moved from the village and walked to the city to give his wife and him a better life. And to me, that's like a story that every time I hear it, I am captivated. And when he came to the city, he just he just was present with his family, like during Christmas. And at the time, like, this was like this was like after they had just fought for freedom too in northern Rhodesia, which is now known as Zambia. But he was so into picking up these traditions and cultures that would bring the family unit together. So at Christmas, he would like get everybody together, tell them stories, tell his kids stories. Like, he was so big on making sure his kids can get to school. But then on the other hand, he had a huge alcohol addiction.
Whoa.
Yeah. And he was only able to fight it later on in his life, but eventually was the cause of his death. So it's like these complexities where two things can be true at once. And he did have this side to him, but then he also had another other things that he was struggling with. So I feel
Wow.
like those are some of the nuances and everything. So
No, thanks for sharing. You didn't have to, but I appreciate your openness on a very sensitive subject. Really. Wow. Yes. Yes. All right. I think we're going to start winding it down. I tell you, when I go review when I go over the all the things that people have written on this conversation, just absolutely fabulous, fabulous. And as I said, I learned this engagement platform even more. I'll be able to collect all the comments. And I do we need to have a part two of this?
I think you, with all the men, yes, and some women as well, I think it would be amazing.
Would you like to be a participant in that madness?
Yeah, of course. I think I'll be very overwhelmed, but I'll be there. I'll be there.
Overwhelmed? Why?
I'll just be like, wow, I'll learn a lot that I didn't know, just a lot.
Okay.
Because I'm coming in there with listening heart, so it should be interesting.
I love the term that you just used, with listening heart.
Yeah.
I think that may be a good term going forward. Can you come into a conversation with a listening heart?
Listening heart, yeah.
That sounds good. That sounds good. A listening heart.
Yeah.
Okay. So so now as you see, this lady gives me easy subjects like the night before to discuss. This is her fault, family, not mine.
No, I actually got this idea from you from the first
I
podcast.
was not thinking about this at all, and then you just bammed it on me. So that's okay. I can work with that. I can work with that. All right. As we start winding it down, like I do most of the time now, before we end our conversation, would like to get this feedback thing. So I'm just getting it ready. Oh, okay. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. We've got our feedback on what did you think about today's show. Want you to give it a, if you're watching on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel, score it from 1 to 5, 1 being it was terrible, 5 it was out of bounds. So 1 meaning terrible. Well, so if you're watching on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube channel, 1 to 5. 1 meaning 5 out of bounds. So please vote. Would like to get your engagement. Food Plane. Like him or not, years ago, TD Jakes had a large meeting for men only called Manpower, where he dealt with these issues. We need more. Yeah, you know what? Uh, Food Plane. Don't know if you have the book, but one of the books I suggest men read is a book that TD Jakes wrote many years ago called He Motions.
Oh, that was really popular. Oh my God, yes, I remember.
Whether you are a Christian or not, that's a book I suggest men read. Men's relations with themselves, their families, and I think it's and I think their partner. Great book. And actually, if you go on YouTube, you can see uh video clips. If I think it's still up of him taking that out on tour. Okay, essay is another issue in this matter. I don't know what essay means, Food Plane.
I know what that means.
Oh, do you want to say or not?
Uh, it's um, it's sexual assault.
Okay, Thank you. Food Plane says, yes, read that. Yeah, great. And what do you think about that book then, Food Plane? I'd like to get your thoughts. I think it's event. Yes, our producer says listening heart is the message of the day. Yeah, that's knowledge bomb. Knowledge bomb. Yep, knowledge bomb. He says, all right, I'm just going to take a check and see. It's got a lot of people on this live and you're not voting? Okay, I got some people voting. I got a few people. Well, we'll show it up right now. And we're blessed that, you know what they're, because especially because Chezu's here, you know what they're saying. 5 out of 5.
Oh, wow.
Love it. Love it. This is good. Okay, we are okay. Food Plane says, loved it. It was great to have something that dealt with some of the issues I had then. Excellent. Fantastic. All right. Yeah. Just update on our responding here. People still, for some reason, giving this a 5. Really? Okay. It's still a 5. And we got a comment here. Magoo says, need part of this with Black men guests and interactive chat. Yes, I will. I don't know if we'll do it on a morning vibe, but if we do it outside of the morning vibe time, you will again, if you follow me on YouTube, especially, you'll get notified of that. I think there's a series here.
Black men talking.
Well, actually, I do a show for Black men on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. This is a separate conversation on this. Macmillan Group says, I'm not. Oh, he brings another. He goes, I'm not too sure what non-melanated feminism is. I will definitely need a deeper explanation. See, this is why we need a Cesar, a Ray McMillan, and all that. The Food Plane says, it's rare to have this important conversation. These days, it isn't rare. It's how it's handled. Because I think, Chezu, you probably are on social media a little bit. I see conversations like this, but they turn into craziness. Just my thought process.
Yeah, no, I agree. They turn into kind of just not hearing each other out.
It's drama,
Yeah.
and now handling it this way, and how the audience, and of course the audience makes this a success. Not me, Chezu and the audience make it. Not me. I'm just a guy, right? Magoo says, great show, and it's always amazing to see the very talented Chezu.
He is too sweet. Too sweet.
Food Plane says, correct. And also says, yes, this felt safe.
Wow.
Well, I always share with people when I do host conversations, even if it's one-on-one or even to myself, I want to make sure I'm in a safe and brave space. Because you always hear the safe space, but I like to have safe and brave.
Safe and brave space.
Because you can be safe and just, which people say a lot of guys just sit there and don't talk.
Yeah.
But if it's brave, that means you feel comfortable sharing and not feeling it's non-judgmental.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Chezu, what are you up to for the weekend?
For the weekend, I am just going to try and make my partner's birthday a
Oh,
memorable.
yes. You were telling me about this. So it's this weekend, the big event?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's gonna be split out into many events because I feel like when it's your birthday, it should be your birthday the whole month. Like, I feel like you should. I feel like you should be treated to special little things the whole month. So I fingers crossed with that one. So
All right.
hopefully it's good.
Well, Don't party too hard because we want to see you on Monday. Monday, right? Want to make sure you make it for Monday because Kel and Nicole, have your questions ready for Monday, family. Going to be talking about intermittent fasting. Hey,
I
you got questions. All right.
love that one.
Yes, and the Carolyn always brings high engagement, so it's going to be fantastic. As always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Would love us to get to 1,780 subscribers by Monday. Can you do it? Join, and also, follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram also. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Email me. You can do it one way. Email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com, or you can click on the link that's on the screen. I believe it's also shared out in the comments sections on most of the platforms you're watching this live on replay. Advertise your business product or service on the platform. Please email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Again, telling you, coming up on Monday's show, certified holistic nutritionist Kel Nicole from Energy Shack Juice Bar talking about benefits and misconceptions of intermittent fasting. Don't forget this lady, Chezu. That's where you can get a hold of her. Next up, Ryan Knight. Oh, I put Dr. Vibe first. Let go, Ryan. RyanOneilKnight.com. That's Knight with a K-N, not an N. LinkedIn, Ryan Oneil Knight. Instagram at Ryan.Knight99. And email, workwithme at RyanOneilKnight.com. Myself, the Dr. Vibe Show website, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, the Dr. Vibe Show. Instagram at the Dr. Vibe Show. X at drvibeshow, and email address dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. You can also catch me on Substack, and Substack's going to change. I'm going to start doing some writing on Substack. Maybe my first article will be about, is there a crisis?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to, that may be my first article on Substack.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you on Substack?
No.
We can talk offline. I suggest you should maybe go on there. It's actually a platform originally for writers.
Okay.
And you can offer paid or free content. All right. This is good stuff. You can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show website. Also, the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Afro Caribbean Business Network on Facebook, and Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. I'm going to do one more thing because I don't know if I shared Chezu's information on all the platforms. So I'm going to do that right now. And then we is out of here. We want to make sure she gets represent. Okay. Let me share it out. Good. All right. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better. Aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. If you're not making money, make history, but try to do both. Try to do both. And then finally, make it better. We will see you on Monday, over the weekend, primetime Saturday, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Black Canada Talking, Sunday at 5 p.m. and Black Men Can Talk at 8 p.m. So we're not taking a break. We're just giving the appetizers, and then we come back again on Monday. All right? God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith and walk good.
This whole thing of using your business with plant-based products, don't you think your life should reflect that too?
Juke him, Carolyn. Juke him. The family loves us here because they're saying Fitness IQ Can says put a wig on to get in.
Oh my God!
Like the ideas are just coming fast and furious here this morning. What? Okay, look at this. Global Women Ambassador. Good morning. Look forward. Okay.